morning and welcome everybody to today's edition of Mexico News Network's Daily Report. I am your host, Sofia Rattinger, broadcasting from El Dorado Royal Spa Resort by Charisma. We have a lot of new information, but before we start, don't forget to visit our website, www.mexiconewsnetwork.com, to keep you informed and also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. Let's begin with information. A long time ago, nestled in the highlands of San Luis Potosí, a wealthy silver mining town was alive. A small town, quite difficult to reach, settled near the sacred land of Huicholes. Allow me to introduce Real de Catorce, an enigmatic town that is practically deserted today, only inhabited by approximately 1,300 people. However, every weekend the place comes to life. This is a time when legends and stories are revived, although some mysteries are still kept and may never be uncovered. The state of San Luis Potosí is known for its colonial charm, natural beauty, preserved history, and traditions. This is where you will find Real de Catorce, a little town hidden between the mountains, elevated 1.7 miles above the ground, right beside the healing energy of the desert. The place where the ethnic people, Huicholes, have their sacred place. The easiest access to this pueblo mágico is through the 1.4 miles of the Ogarrio Tunnel, which is over 110 years old. At first glance, one might think there is not much more to see or to be done in this town, but this isn't the case at all. For starters, you can tour around the area while visiting emblematic buildings such as the Parroquia de la Purísima Concepción Lit, Parish of the Immaculate Conception, the Ball Ring, and the Casa de Moneda Cultural Center. For an adventurous activity, take a tour to the desert on the way to Wirikuta, Huicholes' sacred ceremonial place, where you can explore the area on horseback, walking, or on a vehicle. The desert is also a perfect place to camp and contemplate the stars at night. And the scenery and the views are simply breathtaking. If you don't feel like sleeping, sit back and enjoy the sight. I suggest you rise and shine early. It is well worth it since you will get a chance of witnessing an impressive sunrise in the midst of the mountains and with the entire town at your feet. A radiant light providing energy and getting the positive vibes from the healing spirit of the desert. Real de Catorce allows you to live amazing experiences, delight your palate with great food, and also hear interesting stories and legends. It is a different place where you will feel a mystical energy and also have time to relax and clear your mind. Try it, dare your senses, and enjoy. There is more to Taxco than silver. It is a colonial city that holds a magical ambience enclosed between mountains. There are many reasons as to why it is one of the most visited destinations in the state of Guerrero. We give you 5 reasons of why we think you should visit Taxco. Impressive views. Taxco is located between mountains, and as such, there are many vantage points from which you can gaze upon the beauty of this colonial city from high up. Also, the architecture in Taxco stands out for its Baroque style, which makes up part of the city's charm. Art and culture. Aside from historical architecture, history can also be appreciated at any of the museums where vestiges of culture and art are kept. The shopping. Of course, we couldn't leave out shopping for fine silver articles. The silver market offers numerous shops, often attended by the same people who make the pieces, and most likely you will get the best prices available. And finally, it's colonial magic. Taxco is the only pueblo mágico magic town in the state of Guerrero. It is a peaceful and charming town in the north end with pebble streets and no sidewalks. Historic buildings, it has a well-preserved culture, gardens, parks, museums, cultural and gastronomic events, all of which provide this city with the necessary features to behold the federally granted Magic Town status. Well, now you know our reasons to visit Taxco in the state of Guerrero. Located in the center east of Mexico, the state of Tlaxcala is rich in culture, traditions, and history, even though it is the smallest state in terms of territorial extension. Tlaxcala happens to be where our nation arose. It was the very first official city to be established in Mexico in 1535. It was here where the Tlaxcala indigenous people allied with the Spaniards to conquer Tenochtitlan, reason why it is nowadays known as Cuna de la Nación, meaning in English, the cradle of the nation. Interesting, don't you think? Now, Tlaxcala, it is a modern city filled with ancient architecture, which actually tells its history and at the same time takes you to live an extraordinary adventure. Among these traditions and attractions, let me highlight the pre-Hispanic architecture, for example, the archaeological site of Cacaxtla and the Xochitelcatl archaeological site, a ceremonial center dedicated to fertility. In the state of Tlaxcala, it is possible to embark upon a wonderful journey across one of Mexico's most traditional drinks, with the route of pulque, a tour around several haciendas pulqueras in the state. Speaking of traditions, the state features different festivals, such as the Carnival of Tlaxcala, where the streets are filled with dancers dressed in huehues and catrines, along with crafts and typical food, and the Feria del Zarape in Chiahuantempan, where the best textile handcrafts are exhibited. But above all this, Tlaxcala also offers adventure tourism. Thanks to its geographical location, it is possible to carry out Russian activities such as mountain climbing, rappelling, trekking, and hiking, not to mention, of course, the possibility of camping in the Malinche, one of the most popular and inactive volcanoes of central Mexico, as well as riding on board amazing hot air balloons. And Aguascalientes is the fourth smallest state in Mexico after Mexico City, Tlaxcala, and of course Morelos, although this doesn't mean it's less interesting than other destinations. On the contrary, it may not have exuberant beaches or impressive skyscrapers, but it has charming colonial buildings, mysterious tunnels, and exquisite culinary tours. Maybe one of its greatest features is the bullfighting tradition, show that fills up the monumental Plaza de Toros de Aguascalientes bullfight ring in Aguascalientes, and also one of the main venues of the Feria Nacional de San Marcos, the San Marcos National Fair. With 186 years of tradition, it is the oldest and most important fair in Mexico. Every year, hundreds of people travel from all over the country to enjoy different cultural shows, bullfights, culinary tastings, and live all the color and folklore of the state. Aguascalientes has a colonial charm that takes over your heart. The local city tram still tours around to take you to the most iconic places in town. But probably the best tour is to explore the fantastic buildings, of which their walls enclose fascinating stories that can be heard over and over again. Another amazing experience is to travel the tunnels of the Parroquia de Nuestra Señora de Belén parish church, ingenious hydraulic construction of the 18th century. Of course, adventure activities couldn't be left behind in Aguascalientes. The state has a large flora and fauna, mountainous formations like the Cerro del Muerto, Sierra del Laurel, Sierra Fría, and El Túnel de Potridero, in which you can practice several sport activities such as zipline, mountain bike, camping, and hiking. Aguascalientes will sweep you off your feet from start to finish. Don't let anyone tell you about when you can experience the charm and magic of this amazing colonial destination. We'll be right back with more information on Mexico and the Riviera Maya after this brief commercial.